Wagwan, everybody. I am your Jamaican queen, Miss Y. You are tuned into How I See It TV, and this is How I See It Live. Wagwan, Wagwan, good morning. It is 6 a.m. I'm like, let me just hop on here for like 30 minutes or maybe less and just recap the happenings from yesterday, right? But before we get into it, y'all, please remember to like this video, share the link to my channel if you feel like my content needs some more crowd, subscribe if you have not done so yet. Follow me on, why do I have two eyes in Twitter? Wait a minute. See, that's why we need a spell check. Let me fix that. When am I gonna fix that? Ugh. Anyways, follow me on Twitter, now called X, at How I See It, and on on TikTok at How I See It TV. I guess I can't fix that until I do another live. Oh well. All right, so y'all heard Melody yesterday. And I've been telling people, good morning, Miss Linda, virtual hugs, and Miss Know It All, and Alf. I caught a live, yes. Good morning to you, how I see it. Oh, you said I'm on, okay. I couldn't sleep. Oh, wow. I wonder if you're like me, Alf. I sleep in, what do you call that? What's the word I'm looking for? Let me use bursts because I can't find the word I'm looking for. I sleep in bursts. So I'll sleep for like 2 hours or so or an hour or so, and then I'm up for like another 3 hours, and then I doze off, and then I'm up again. That's how my insomnia works. But I'm glad that you got to catch one of my lives. So y'all, I'm sure by now, even if you didn't watch Melody live on TikTok, you must have seen some of the content creators who've shared her live or gave commentary on her live and some of the things that she had to say about Dr. Elaine, aka Dr. Heavenly, aka Hellish, aka Dentist the Menace, aka somebody I don't like. All right. And I've been saying this since season 2. Hi, Pisces Live. I've been saying this since season 2 of Married to Medicine that I don't see it for Heavenly. And let me tell y'all why. I never liked Heavenly. When she got on Married to Medicine, her energy came off as if she did not really like Mariah. And if y'all don't know, Mariah is my girl. I love me some Mariah Huck, okay? She has her ways, like everybody else on reality TV, because that's all we have to go by, right? People's reality TV persona. And then for others, we have enough Instagram lives, we have enough interviews, we have enough social media posts to use to say, well, on the show and off the show, I don't like you. And for Mariah, her on TV character is definitely different from her social media presence, right? And I always felt like Mariah was misunderstood on the show. And let me tell you why. I always felt from season 1 of Married to Medicine that Mariah was fighting for something on that show. And it wasn't about the women, right? And I don't know if it's just my spirit of discernment. I just can read. I know how to read a room, okay? Whether you're on TV or whether you're in front of me. And it always just felt like there was more going on that show that wasn't about the women, right? It was some behind the scenes stuff that was going on, okay? It never made sense why Dr. Jackie did not like Mariah. Like, lady, she's the one that has you on this international platform that is now Bravo. And all she's asking of you is, while this lady over here is bringing up some information to the show about my child, stand up as the elder in the room and tell this lady that she's wrong. But Jackie could never do that. And it just never made sense. I don't feel like Mariah was asking for a lot. Jackie always wanted people to kind of like kiss her peaches. And she still does. She just feel like she is the greatest in the room and everybody should bow down. And Mariah was like, in my opinion, Mariah was like, this is my ish. You might be a celebrity, gynecologist, a celebrity OBGYN, but at the end of the day, you being a celebrity doctor didn't get you on reality TV. You being a celebrity doctor and well known in Atlanta didn't get you on Bravo. It was my dream that got you here. It was Mariah boots on the hard concrete. Well, not even boots, child. Mariah was walking bare feet on the concrete, trying to pitch this show that is now Married to Medicine, spending her thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of her own money to pitch that show. And then they all come on the show acting like, because Mariah did not want to be a Shawnee O'Neal, and let me explain that. Shawnee O'Neal was a cast member of Basketball Wives, but she was also their boss. And she made that known every step of the way, where these women, they will go at it with each other, but you never see anybody go at Shawnee. And Shawnee could sit in front of Brandy and say, thank you for your services, and dismiss her. And then she never came back to the show for like 2 seasons. I don't think Mariah wanted that kind of energy on her show. She wanted to own her percentage of her show. And she also wanted the women to feel like they can show up as a cast. And if they needed to come at her, they could do that. And if they wanted to come at somebody else, they could do that. But without feeling like if they said something to her, then they would be off the show, right? And because Mariah did that, they had the opportunity to force her, to push her out of her show. And I stand on that. Because Mariah told us she was more focused on maintaining her ownership percentage of the show that she created. She didn't care about her cast member contract. She was fighting to keep her show. And because of that, because her focus was on one side, on the other side, she was weak. And that is the only reason they had the opportunity to not renew her cast contract. And now it's kind of like, it's been so many years. To me, even though I want Mariah back on the show, it does not make sense that she comes back at this point in time. But I say that to say, when Heaven Lee was casted for Married to Medicine, It was Mariah who got Heavenly through the door because the producers didn't like Heavenly. They didn't think that Heavenly fit. Let's put it this way. They thought Heavenly was unattractive, basically, in my opinion. So they didn't think that Heavenly would be a great fit for the cast, right? Which is why we saw a glimpse of Heavenly during season 1 at that infamous party where Mariah and Toya got to tussling. We saw a quick glimpse of Heavenly and Damon. And then season 2, she was on the show because Mariah went and bat for her. Mariah told them, look, I think this lady would be great for the show. Right? But little did Mariah know that Heavenly didn't really like her. Heavenly just wanted to be on the show so badly that she was willing to befriend the one person who had enough say to get her on the cast. Heavenly came on, she didn't like Jackie because all Jackie did was fat shame her. Remember, Dr. Jackie called her a busted can of biscuits? So Mariah was the person that Heavenly was closest to on the cast. But if y'all go back and watch season 2, all Heavenly did was listen to Mariah vent and then run it back to the other women. It was almost as if producers were like, listen, Heavenly, if you want to stay on this show, we need you to stay close to Mariah, get all the dirt, and help turn the other women against her. And to me, that's what Heavenly did. And I was like yelling at my TV, like, Mariah, just like Dr. Shanita said, watch her. I was like, Mariah, watch her, because she don't like you. I could feel it through the TV screens. This lady does not like Mariah. And Mariah had nobody else on her team at the time. The only person she had was Heavenly. And so Heavenly was the person she was talking to about all these other women. And you could see it on Heavenly's face when Mariah was talking. Like she was just taking it in. She was making faces, and Mariah wasn't catching it because, as I said, Mariah thought she had an ally in Dr. Heavenly. But I clocked it. And every season after that, I clocked Heavenly. And I was like, I don't like this lady. And then she started going at Toya super hard. And I've already told people on my Twitter that when I was preparing to do my Accurate Context episodes for my podcast, that was before I decided to do YouTube. I was working on a podcast called Accurate Context. And that was me doing some deep dives into celebrities on reality TV stars' life, especially the ones that I like, to just show people that who they are on TV is not who they are in real life. And so I found that Toya has so much going on for her outside of Married to Medicine. Toya has properties, okay, with an S. Toya has properties that she owns in Detroit. Investment properties, commercial properties that she owns in Detroit. So all this, oh, Toya is broke, Toya just moving from house to house, Toya not doing anything with her money. BS. That's what Toya wants people to think for the show, and I don't get why Toya does that. They act like Toya hasn't been running businesses since she's been on Married to Medicine. Toya has a whole children's book that she authored called Go to Bed Sleepyhead. A great children's book. Buy for your grandkids, buy for your babies if you have babies, buy for your nieces. An awesome book. One of the first children's book that I saw that featured a character that had, dark skin and Afro kinky hair. Okay, one of the first books that I saw, right? So Toya has been doing a lot. But if you listen to Dr. Heavenly, you would think that all Toya does is sit on Married to Medicine, collect a Bravo check, and spend it. So when she kept going at Toya, I was telling people, Heavenly is not a good person. Heavenly will do and say whatever to keep a spotlight on herself. And people like that, you definitely should watch around you. Heavenly is what I call a two-sided cutlass. That's what we would call her in Jamaica, two-sided cutlass. And that is somebody who speaks out of two sides of their mouth, where in one breath she says, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then in the next breath, she's talking bad about you. I don't like people like that. And that's who Heavenly has always been. If you go back and watch her from season 2 of Married to Medicine. On Messy Mondays, Heavenly says, I can't be Sweetie's best friend. If you think about it, I can't be Sweetie's best friend because Quad is my best friend. BS. Because the reason Sweetie is on Married to Medicine is because Heavenly and Jackie, they thought that it would be a great idea for Sweetie to join the cast. And this was at a point in time when these women weren't getting along with Quad. So if Quad was just Heavenly's best friend like that, why would she be pushing and pushing and pushing for Dr. G and his new wife to be back on the show? So I'm telling y'all, this lady's not a good person. Not a good person. So her and Sweet Tea would go out for tea. They would go walking. This is before Sweet Tea even got on the show. They were building an honest, genuine friendship, right? And Sweet Tea said this in some of her Instagram lives. So this is not just me talking out the side of my neck, right? Even Dr. Heavenly said it. That her and Sweet Tea used to go for walks. Go back and listen to that Heavenly University episode that Sweet Tea was on last year before the season started, right? Her and Sweet Tea were hanging out basically because they were building a genuine friendship outside of the show. She was giving Sweet Tea advice about how to present herself, let's say, on the show, what her storyline should be. So they were building a genuine friendship, but this was when Heavenly felt like Quad wasn't going to be on the show. So when you see Quad walk into Sweet Tea's bachelorette party last season, that was the first time Heavenly knew for sure that Quad was going to be on the season. And that was the instant that Heavenly switched up on Sweet Tea. The second Quad walked in to that scene was the second Heavenly said, oh, I can't be Sweet Tea's friend anymore because Quad is back. Dang, I didn't know that Quad was going to be here for this season. Okay, so I'm going to be Team Quad. And now I'm going to create division between these two women. And I'm going to be Team Quad throughout the whole thing while I throw Sweet Tea under the bus and make it look like I wasn't a friend to this girl this whole time, even before the season started to film. That's not a good person. A person who refuses who refuses to call people by their right names, for me, is not a good person. You're not going to tell me that your memory is so bad that we have had several interactions, several one-on-one interactions, and you choose to continue to call me by the wrong name. She's done it to Contessa, where she continued to call Dr. Contessa Contessa or Kuntessa. And she's like, oh, it's just my memory. I can't remember her name, Contessa. She's been doing it with Melody, where she continues to call Melody Holt. Oh, I don't know a Melody Rogers. I know a Melody Holt. Oh, girl, when you said Melody Rogers, I was like, who are you talking about? I don't know no Melody Rogers. I know a Melody Holt. That's some messy, evil stuff. To sit in that live knowing good and God darn well that she knows Dr. Shanita. Because Heavenly knows Dr. Shanita. Let's be clear. If you are a part of the Atlanta reality TV entertainment crowd, then you know Shanita. When you go to Melody's property management course on her website, you're going to see three faces. Three faces on her website. One of those faces is Heavenly's, and one of those faces is Dr. Shanita Foster, and somebody else. I can't remember right now. So they've interacted. Heavenly knows that lady's name, but because she wanted to be evil and messy, she kept calling Dr. Shanita Chiquita Banana. That was offensive. That's some evil stuff right there. To sit on a Zoom call where she invited Sharnita, and if y'all watch Sharnita's World, that's Melody's reality TV show that she's producing with Don Michelle. Sharnita was invited to be a speaker at one of Dr. Heavenly's events in Alabama. When Sharnita got on the Zoom call with Heavenly, according to Sharnita, continuously called her by the wrong name. And she said she corrected Heavenly several times during that Zoom meeting. And it was almost as if Heavenly did not care to get it right. And that tells you about a person's character. Let me tell you this. If you tell somebody the correct pronunciation of your name and they don't at the least try to get it right, they don't care about you. Be mindful of people like that. I'm the type of person, if your name, looks hard to pronounce, I'm going to try my hardest to get the correct pronunciation because I don't want to offend. I've gone through that at some points in my life where people would pronounce my name wrong, people would spell my name wrong, and it offended me. Because if you cared, you would try to get my name right. That's who I am. That's the core of who I am, is my name. The core of who you are, y'all, is your name. The first thing a lot of people know about you, the first intimate thing that people know about you outside of how you look, the first thing people normally know about you is your name. So for somebody to sit and play in your face like they don't know the correct pronunciation, they're not going to try to correct how they're pronouncing your name, or they're going to purposefully call you by the wrong name, that tells you about their character. I've been telling y'all about Dr. Heavenly. Y'all need to go to my Twitter and and just look, scroll down my timeline. I've been clocking Heavenly. I don't like that lady. I don't know her from a can of paint in Home Depot, but I just don't. My spirit just does not vibe with her. When she comes across my TV screen, I want to turn it off. I don't even want to watch Messy Mondays, but because I want to see what she's talking about so I can read her down, I go over there. But she's not a good person. A good person does not want to see division between two black women. Sweet Tea and Quad, they have nothing. They have nothing to fight about. But Heavenly wants to see those two women at odds. She gets a high of seeing people fight. That's evil, in my opinion. The way she sat on Messy Mondays and talked about that girl's ovaries, talked about that young lady's inability to conceive at the moment, in that moment, right? The way she sat and dragged that girl about her endometriosis and then sat there and smiled and giggled as Carlos was talking about some Sweet Tea should have had some eggs on her vision board. To be a woman in that moment and to smile as a man says that about another woman, for me, that's just some low down stuff. And when Heavenly's fans sit in her comments and they applaud that kind of stuff, I have to think to myself that these people aren't okay. It's one thing to do some fun shade, y'all. And I've said this before. Fun shade is one thing. Being disrespectful and then calling it shady, or being disrespectful and calling it I'm throwing shade, that's a whole other thing. And that's what they do on Messy Mondays. They hide their disrespect under a cover of, oh, it's just fun shade. To sit there knowing that Martell was arrested for what he was arrested for, and to still say, oh, you feel like him and Melody are going to get back together. That's some downright shisty stuff. To even fix your mouth to say, oh, Dr. Shanita can go and be with Martell, that's some shisty stuff. That's not shade. That's not calling it like you see it. That's not keeping it real. Heavenly likes to say, oh, I'm just real. You're not. Because if you were real, the people who watch Married to Medicine, they would know more about your life than they do now. Okay, we know you got some kids that are off to college. We know that you love daddy. We know that y'all were pregnant before y'all got married. We know you fussing with your sister. We know your mama did not like you. She said it. She said it, not me. She said her mom liked her sister more. Her sister was more popular. And that told me, for me, that told me a whole lot about Heavenly right there. That she always wanted to be the popular girl and that she was willing to do anything to become that. How do you sit and drag Sweet Tea for her body when you had to go and do all this surgery to have the body that you have right now? How? How do they sit and say Sweet Tea looks older than all of us when the truth is just Heavenly's neck, just her neck and her under her chin can tell you how old she is. When she did all that surgery, she didn't tell them to tighten that up. But she sits and she body shames Sweetie. Heavenly tries to dress like a city girl. And she gets in these dresses with these corsets and she looks like she's stuffed into the dress. And then she sits on her platform and wants to throw all the shade at everybody else for how they dress. You're not a real one. You're not a real one if when you're given information, you don't give the whole story. And that's what Heavenly does. She never gives the whole story. She gives her version of events. And then because she has the larger platform where she gets up and runs her mouth every Monday, people believe her version. And then everybody else's version gets drowned out because nobody wants to listen to the other side. How are you Quad's best friend, but you sat on your platform and said the reason y'all brought Sweet Tea on the show is because Quad was broke? That's what Heavenly said. I posted it to my TikTok. I'm not alleging nothing. Heavenly said the reason why they got Sweet Tea to come on the show is because Quad was broke, and she said, let's be real. All of us are on the show. Who needs the money? Who needs the money? So when you think about it, if you get Sweet Tea, then who's the other part of the puzzle? Quad. She sat on her platform and she said Quad was hoing it down in Ghana. This is what Heavenly says. And then she fixes her mouth on Monday to say, oh, I can't be Sweet Tea's best friend because Quad's my best friend. No. You're all about yourself, Heavenly. Which is why you couldn't even stand on business and stick to your word when you went live on your Instagram and said you're not going to cover reality TV anymore because you want to change, you want to switch up your brand and you don't want to sit online every day talking about reality TV. You couldn't even stick to that for a whole week. She couldn't even stick to that for a whole week, y'all. Because she loves the spotlight. She loves the spotlight. Heavenly swears up and down that she's the one producing Married to Medicine. She feels like that is her show. That's her baby. It's the attention seeking of it all. And she says the most asinine things. And then she says, oh, I'm going to say it and I'm going to take it back. Because she knows she's saying some BS. Pisces, I said, I can't stand Elaine either. I can't. And I was glad that Melody called her by name. Al says, I've never liked Elaine. She's an agent of chaos and is. When she arrived on Married to Medicine, she changed the energy of the entire cast. Seeing her destroy Dr. Jackie's and Dr. Simone's friendship was horrible. And it was. And to this day, Simone and Jackie, they're not in the same space. They're not in the same space. They're trying, but their friendship has changed a lot. And Heavenly's, she's at the core of that. She's at the core of that. She is bitter, Pisces life. And then to say that Melody only has friends whose men cheat on them, I thought that was a disgusting thing to say because she doesn't know who Melody's friends are outside of who she's seen on the TV screens. Melody continues to tell us she still has friends from high school. She has friends from college. Some names we don't even know yet because she hasn't said their names. What's the name of one of her friends? I think Brittany. I think it's Brittany. I could be wrong. But I know that she was on that episode where Melody hosted like the ladies at her house. That's been Melody's friend since freshman year of college. We don't know that girl's life. We don't even know if she's married or anything. I don't think at the point in time when Melody was trying to save her marriage, I don't think it was a bad idea to speak to a woman who went through the same thing. Nell and Chris, they went through the same thing. Remember, at this point in time, there was no outside baby yet, right? When they were talking to Chris and Nell in the beginning of it all, when they were getting counseling from these two, there wasn't an outside baby. So at that point in time, Mel was seeking counsel. The then Holtz, they were seeking counsel from a couple that went through it and came over to the other side still together. So I don't know how that's a bad thing. And Carlos likes to rewrite history. In the words of Kenya Moore, a revisionist historian. Because Nell and Chris Fletcher both said they met Mel and Martell together as a couple. It was never no Chris and Martell were friends, and that's how the wife became friends. The Fletchers said they met them together as a couple. Okay? So Carlos, he had to just change the history on that for the sake of what Heavenly was saying. Didn't y'all peep that? The minute Heavenly said, oh, I guess Martell, told Melody, listen, I have a friend over here. He used to cheat on his wife and go to her for counseling so she can tell you what to do. And then the minute Heavenly said that, Carlos was like, yeah, I think Chris was Martell's friends first. But these people did an interview on Carlos King's platform telling us how that friendship came to be. So why was he rewriting the history to suit Heavenly's narrative? But anyways, as I was saying, for me, it made sense that Melody and Martell at the time went and got counsel from a close friend who went through the same thing that they were going through. How did y'all get through this? How did y'all get past this hard spot? Chris Fletcher, how did you get to the point where you realize that you can't be out here cheating on your wife because y'all are building generational wealth, y'all are building businesses together, y'all need to those were questions that I felt like were great questions to be asking to people who went through the same thing and seemingly made it to the other side. So to make that seem like it was just on some, oh, go talk to Nell because she was cheated on too, like that's some BS and that's not okay. And I said in that premiere chat that I would prefer to talk to Nell. If I was Melody, I would talk to Nell before I would even go to somebody like a Heavenly who present like their marriage is just so perfect and they've never been through anything. Then how can you really help me? If you've never had to go through a hard spot in your marriage, how can you help me? because I'm in a hard spot in my marriage. So if I'm going to seek advice, I can't go to somebody whose marriage is all sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. That period is done in this marriage. And I'm speaking from the lens of. So if all the sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and unicorns are no longer present in my marriage, and that's all you know, how can you help me? Tell me one time Dr. Heavenly has ever talked about going through a hard patch, a difficult patch, a rough patch in her marriage. Never. She says, my marriage is perfect. Then you're not the best person to get advice from if I'm really going through it. You can't give me any gems based on things that you use to get to the other side. What advice could somebody like a Heavenly give to a Melody? I can see the advice that a Nell Fletcher would probably give. Might not be the best advice. Like, girl, you just gotta stick through it. You gotta pray through it. I remember when Chris left the house for 8 months, I was depressed, girl. But I prayed for my marriage. I prayed for my husband. And look at us now. The hard times aren't gonna last. Like, I can see Nell saying all of that. I can see Nell, but I could also see them telling Martell, listen, when Chris left this family to go live with his side piece, it broke up our family so much. Our children, they were affected in this way, this way, this way, this way. You don't want that for your children. See, that's the other side of it that I don't think that Heavenly was looking at when she said that mess. That the reason Chris and Nell would be great counselors during that time is because they understood the impact that Martell's behavior could have on his family. And I think that's the point of view that they were using when they were counseling them. And they've said it. They said that when they were talking to Martell, they tried to tell him, they were trying to tell him how badly his family were going to be impacted by his behavior because they could speak from experience. But I think Heavenly didn't realize that when she was saying that mess. Glam, you said it's storming. It's not storming anymore on my side, Glam. This morning though, I woke up at like 3 and the lightning was, listen, the Lord was taking pictures outside and it was loud. At one point I got up and I went and sat in my bathroom because I hate lightning, okay? And coming through my window upstairs, it was doing too much. I was like, And my husband was sleeping. And then after a while, I went back and just, snuggled under his arms and tried to cover up because why are you taking so many pictures, Lord? Oh, gosh. You are so right. Heavenly. Oh, you're so right about Heavenly. I too watched her since she arrived on Married to Medicine. How she came at Mariah. She's an evil person. I'm glad that other people agree. Thank you, Cynthia. I think it was a bad idea because they were only trying to get Melody to accept the BS. They're still together yet there are rumors. Allegedly. There's that side of it. Nisa, I'm hopeful because I see 2 A's or Nisa. There's that side of it where they were trying to encourage Melody to just stick through it because they're going to get to the other side just like they did. But I also think there was another side of it where they were trying to show Martell or teach Martell that his actions were going to be detrimental to his family because they said it, and they've gone through that part of it too. So I think there's two sides to it. There's the side where they were trying to have Melody accept the BS, and then on the other side they were also trying to show Martell like the impact that his behavior was going to have on his family if a divorce came about, if that makes sense. She's not going to be done. She's going to come back. She's going to come back to Messy Mondays. She's probably going to bring up what Melody said on Messy Mondays. And then they're going to talk about it, and then they're going to be shady about it. And let's see what happens, because when she had come out and said she was gonna do she wasn't gonna cover Married to Medicine, not Married to Medicine, she was gonna cover Love and Marriage Huntsville anymore, I said, you know what, I'm gonna wait for Monday to see for myself if Monday was going to be the proof of whether she was just talking mess. And clearly that's what she was. She just loves attention. That's what that was. She loves attention. That was an attention seeking moment. Oh, let me come on live and tell the people that I'm not gonna cover reality TV anymore, get social media in a frenzy so I can have some attention on me for a couple of days, and then boom, I'm gonna come back and I'm going to be reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville for another Monday. Attention seeking. Ooh, what was this? D Her First says, after all these years, she still can't drink. I don't know why she thinks that she is just this fashion person on Married to Medicine. She's not. Jackie's not even the fashion person. None of the let's be clear. None of the women on Married to Medicine I would look to for like inspiration when it comes to style. None of them. I think style and fashion, they are personal choices. And what you might like doesn't mean that somebody else is going to like it. What you can pull off doesn't mean that somebody else can pull it off. When it comes to fashion, you have to be able to be comfortable in whatever you're wearing. I've seen Rihanna wear some things, y'all, that a regular person would not even think to put on, but it still looks good because she rocks it with so much confidence. So when it comes to people's style, I try not to even comment too much on it because I know that style is just a personal expression, but I don't feel like Heavenly can dress to how much she talks about how everybody else dress. She can't. You said she may love Daddy, but Daddy don't like her. Listen, I saw down there on Lipstick Alley the people talking about Dr. Damon Daddy and how he maneuvered or how he used to maneuver when he was working in the emergency room. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Allegedly, Dr. Damon is not as perfect as Heavenly wants people to believe, according to the Lipstick Alley streets. Another post on Lipstick Alley said that during Covisha, Damon was rounding about doing some stuff that he was supposed to be doing, allegedly. But nobody has ever come out to show proof of anything. And you know what I think? I feel like men like Damon, they are smart enough to, if they're gonna have an affair, to do so with another doctor perhaps who has as much to lose publicly as they do. Because let me tell you this, if I was going to have an affair and I was a doctor, if I was going to have an affair, I would pick another esteemed doctor who is not going to be out here like a coleslaw talking about, I heard y'all were looking for me. Because think about it. What doctor is going to want that scandal all over their hospital? To come out and say, yes, I'm the one that's been messing around with Damon. Like, no doctor is going to come out and admit that. So if that's what Damon's doing and that's why it's all hush hush, then you know what? Good for Heavenly. She got a respectful cheater on her hand, right? Respectful cheating. Because I guess that's the thing. Respectful cheating. Destiny sounds so dumb. Ooh, let me see what you said. That's a microaggressive approach she uses on Black women to intimidate them, right? But the thing is, how are you gonna try to intimidate somebody by not using their correct name when you're speaking to them? But it is a microaggression. It is passive aggressive. It's almost like, I don't like you, but I can't tell you that I don't like you because I need something from you, but I'm going to joke around in your face, be a mean girl to your face by pronouncing your name incorrectly. Like, that's how it comes across. And then she says, oh, my bad, I'm so sorry, I'm just not good with names. For somebody who has such great memory, right? Because she claims she's so smart, she has good memory. For somebody who has such good memory, I don't understand how she can never remember somebody's name. Because the fact is, she does remember, she does know what she's doing. She's doing it on purpose. I don't know why they don't get rid of Heavenly. I don't think it's her time yet. That's what I think it is. Just like last season was Quad's turn to be iced out, I don't think the producers are ready to ice Heavenly out yet. They like her antics. They feel like what she does brings ratings, maybe. I don't know what it is. But whatever the case may be, it seems like the producers, they like Heavenly over there. Now she's an older version of Stormy, a user and an opportunist. I heard that Stormy over there talking about the producers gave her a fake storyline this season. So did they give everybody else a fake storyline, Stormy? I want to know, did they give everybody else a fake storyline too? Because what Melody told us is that a producer can suggest you do something, can suggest you say something, can suggest you show up somewhere, but you have the choice. You have a choice in whether or not you do what they're suggesting. So as it relates to Destiny, a producer could say, listen, the girls trip is happening. Melody isn't going to invite you personally because y'all don't get along, but we're going to have Tisha invite you. And you're not going to show up on the same day as everybody else. You're going to show up the next day. Destiny had a choice in saying, listen, I'm not going on this girls trip. But she needed money because you get paid per episode. So she didn't go to this girls trip, should have been out of 2 episodes. Because you notice that when we see everybody else together on the cast, if somebody is missing, and I don't know why Love and Marriage Huntsville does this, it's always group scenes. Has anybody else ever realized that? Like, it's always some group scene or some one-on-one scene, but you hardly ever see people in scenes, doing things with other people outside of the cast. So let me use this for an example. All right. So on Real Housewives of Potomac, right? You'll see Karen Huger at her house making some cookies, talking to Ray. You see Giselle at her house talking to her daughter. You see Robin at home with her son. You see Candace, at home on her couch with Chris having a conversation. Or you'll see a scene where there is Giselle and Robin and Ashley together, and then in that same episode you'll see a scene of Candace going to her doctor's appointment or something. But I've never seen that done on Love and Marriage Huntsville, because the week before when they had that dinner scene, right? Why didn't we see a solo scene of Destiny doing something? So that we had an understanding of, okay, this is why Destiny was not at the dinner. Or everybody's getting ready to go on the girls' trip. Everybody's at the airport. Everybody's at the house. Why was that not like juxtaposed, I guess, with a scene of Destiny somewhere else doing something? Am I crazy? Because I've seen this done on several reality TV shows. But when it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville, if it's not a group scene or a one-on-one scene, we don't really see the cast at all. Like, what were the men up to? Like, why did we not see like scenes of the men doing stuff while the women are on the girls trip? Somebody tell me in the chat if I'm making sense, because I feel right now I'm feeling like I'm crazy. I'm almost positive that I see this done all the time on reality TV. Love and Marriage Huntsville is almost like they only have one camera. It's almost as if they only have one camera, y'all. So when that camera is shooting a scene, they don't have the space or time or anything to go get some other scenes. Because what is everybody else doing while half the cast is at dinner? What is everybody else doing while all these women are on a girls' trip? What were the men doing? Were the men playing golf? Were they at the bar? Were they down at Black? Even when Marsau had that one-on-one scene with Melody, why did we not see a scene of Tisha getting ready to go to the office, since that's where Marsau went to meet her? We should have seen Tisha while Melody and Marsau were talking. We should have seen Tisha heading to the office, talking to somebody on the phone, like, yeah, I'm about to go meet Marsau at the office. He had to go meet up with Melody first, and I can't wait to hear what he's going to come back and say to me. That's what we should have been seeing if we're following the story. But all of a sudden, Marsau leaves his scene with Melody, and boom, he's in the office talking with Tisha. And it's like, how did he get there? How did Tisha get to the office? Wait a minute. The dinner scene is done, and then all of a sudden the women the next day are at Kimmy's dinner table talking to Destiny, and we still don't know what Destiny was doing for her not to have been at the dinner. I don't know. Let me see if somebody is telling me in the chat. Candy says CK vision is really short, and if someone does not teach him cast placement, he is not even thinking about it. Exactly. Thank you, Candy, because I know that I have seen this done on reality TV over and over and over, where we get to see different stories from everybody on the cast in one episode. We don't just see 1 hour of a whole dinner scene or 45 minutes. How long is the show? We don't just see 45 minutes of a dinner scene. And I bet you we're gonna watch on Saturday, and Saturday is just going to be the girls' trip. We're not gonna know what these men have been up to for the 5 days that their wives and girlfriends were off to a tropical island. And that makes no sense because, unlike Real Housewives, Love and Marriage Huntsville, it's about both the men and the women. So if you're telling a story of what the women are doing on a girls' trip, a story should have been told of what the men are up to while their wives are away. But as you said, Candy, Carlos' vision is short. So he's not going to tell that story. He's just excited to have mess on this girls' trip. And that's what we're going to see. And y'all, we're at the hour mark. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that was in my yard this morning, everybody that checked out this live. Let me take this off the screen. Okay, so thank you, Miss Linda, Miss Know It All, Alf MC, Pisces Life. Going down, hi Miss CC, virtual hugs. Glam Rocks, I know you're about to go live at like 7:30, so y'all go over to Glam Rocks for her AM talks. It's a great show in the mornings. She is my company as I drive to work. Inez Martin, Dee Herford, Nisa, Cynthia, Sherelle, and Candy. Thank you all for being in the yard. And until next time, y'all, please remember to, where's my stuff? I hate going live on my computer because I don't know where to find that thing. All right, here we go. Please remember to like this video, share the link to my channel if you feel like my content needs some more crowd. Subscribe if you have not done so as yet. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, now called X, at How I See It, and on TikTok at How I See It TV. Until next time, happy Thursday. Enjoy your day. If you are in South Florida, like myself and Glam, it's wet outside. So please drive carefully. There are crazy people on the road, okay? Or if you're in another state and it's probably raining outside too, same sentiments goes for you. Please be safe out there, everybody. We might drive safe. I always say this. I drive safe. I drive slow. I am always shadowing my brakes, okay? Always shadowing my brakes. And let me give y'all a quick story of why I always shadow my brakes. When you're at the stoplight, there are people who purposefully take forever to drive off when the light goes on green. And so you're watching the light, and if you're not shadowing your brakes, you're about to run into somebody's back. Because that's how I got into an accident in January. A 3 or 4 car pileup where I was at the stoplight, minding my business, my feet are on the brake, my foot is on the brake, and the light goes green. The person in front of me takes forever to move off. Then they stop, but it's a good thing I didn't move. So they stop, and then 4 cars behind me, they run into the back of my car. Now, if I was close to the person in front of me, I would have hit their car. But thanks be to God, my foot's always on the brake. So about 4 cars, back to back to back, domino effect. and my car was the last one they all ran into. So I believe in shadowing my brakes. I'm never too close to anybody's car. When you see me driving, y'all, a car can literally cut in front of me and it wouldn't be a problem because there's a whole space for them to do so. And maybe that's just me being afraid when it comes to driving, but that's just how I drive. Okay, I'm going to shadow my brakes. So just be careful out there because crazy people are on the road driving. All right, y'all, walk good. Bye.